Hey everybody, this is a clip from the latest episode of the Randi Rhodes Show. If you want the full episode, you can watch live on Free Speech TV, Dish Channel 9415, DirecTV 348, Sling, Roku, and Apple TV.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
If some of those wonderful people had guns strapped right here, right to their waist, or right to their ankle, and this son of a bitch comes out and starts shooting, and one of the people in that room happened to have it and goes boom, boom.
Oh,
you know what?
God.
That would have been a beautiful, beautiful sight, folks. That would have been a beautiful, beautiful sight.
That's your president. That is your president, standing there and telling people that a beautiful sight for him is the sight of a person shooting another person in the head, in the front of the head, and actually So do you think we're going to get gun legislation from this man? Do you? Because I have to tell you, the Republicans, John Thune, Mitch McConnell, they were all saying to the president, what is it that you're for again on the gun issue? What is it that you're for? Because we would like to take a vote. About 90% of America want background checks, and we have no idea at all what you're for. And Mitch McConnell has this new rule in the Senate that they don't vote on anything. They're not independent. They're not a co-equal branch of government. They're not the first branch of government in the Constitution. Oh, no, oh, hell no. The Senate is now an appendage of the president's. And Mitch McConnell does whatever Donald Trump tells him to do. They don't have any independence at all. So he says, oh, well, we can't, even debate. Now, Mitch McConnell said before the big summer recess that the first thing he was going to do when he gets back, because we had shootings, was he was going to take up the background checks. He was going to go ahead, take the summer off, relax, get tan, drink a couple of margaritas, come back to work refreshed, and take a vote on guns. And now they mention nothing. He mentions absolutely nothing. He says he's going to spend the next, and there's only 40 legislative days left before Christmas. I don't know if people understand this. 40 legislative days are left. That's it. And Mitch McConnell says he's going to spend it hashing out some sort of a spending bill to keep the government open so we don't have another shutdown like the last time when he shut the government down for 3 weeks and it cost us $1 billion to do it. And you had the air traffic controllers, getting back pay in little increments to make up for. I mean, he is breaking our government, and the Republicans are going along with it. They are literally acting as if they are an appendage, as if they are, some part of the executive branch instead of being an independent branch, a co-equal branch of our government that appropriates money, that passes legislation, and then the president can either veto or sign, and then they can override or not. And that is a simple explanation of our Constitution. But, we don't know what he's for, so Mitch McConnell's not going to bring anything up, and it's not sort of. And meanwhile, you got lots of Republicans who are listening to, their constituents and stuff, who are up for re-election, who obviously know that they need to do a background check bill. Now we're talking about, well, maybe we won't do a background check bill. Maybe we'll just do red flag laws. How does that work? Who decides? Who decides that this person or that person is certifiable? So if a wife has a drunk husband who's prone to violence and has picked up his hands to her before, and now he's got a gun and she's got a kid in the house, oh yeah. And so she shoots the gun into the ceiling, Marissa Alexander, for instance, she goes to jail. That's the current lay of the land. Does she now have to go to court and wait for the judge, even though she's in the heat of the moment and the guy is coming in through the garage and busting down through the laundry room door? I mean, this is ridiculous, the things that we have to deal with because we have an intransigent Republican Party and a president who likes to stand on a stage and say a beautiful sight to him would be somebody walking up to a gunman and shooting him in the head, which apparently doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way. First, you lose 9 lives in less than 30 seconds, and then maybe the police come and they're able to shoot the gunman. That's the lay of the land. That's the reality. I mean, you know, and do you really think that we're going to get anything on gun? I mean, we're not going to get anything. And every single thing that Americans want to have happen, whether it's a trade deal, a unilateral one country to one country trade deal, as if that piece of paper between the United States and China would stop China from doing all the bad things China does. Because the president signed a piece of paper and had some sort of a photo op, that would solve all the problems with China. It's just a ridiculous notion. You know, this is what the G20 is for. This is what the G7 is for. This is what the Trans-Pacific Partnership was trying to accomplish. It was trying to block China with all the other Asian Pacific nations, trading with each other and leaving China out of the deal. Was it perfect? No. Did it have more work to be done on it? You're damn right it did. But it was an idea that was worthy. Instead, you got Donald Trump just wanting a photo op with Kim Jong-un, who's still firing off missiles. You got Donald Trump wanting a photo op saying, I declare that China has stopped, stealing our intellectual property because they signed this piece of paper. That's ridiculous. That's just plain stupid. That's stinking thinking. That is loser thinking. That is a photo op and nothing more. You got the Saudis getting our intel. You got the Russians getting Israeli intel through this administration. You got decades of spy work going absolutely out the window. And now that spy that was that had to be taken out, that spy was living in D.C., and living under his real name, apparently. And Ken Delanian from MSNBC was able to find this guy and went and knocked on his door. And then, like 5 minutes later, these guys in black SUVs who we believe, they believe, the MSNBC believed was actually the government, said, wait. Why are you knocking on this guy's door? And obviously the guy is under government protection. And now they have to move him. He can't live in D.C. anymore. I mean, how sick is this administration? This is just, unbelievable.
Current and former government officials tell NBC News that the former senior Russian official and possible spy for the CIA is living in the Washington area under U.S. protection. NBC News is withholding the man's name and other key details at the request of U.S. officials who say reporting the information could endanger his life.
Oh, my God.
If you spy long enough and take enough risks for the CIA as a Russian official, the chance of discovery increases, and they decided to bring him out.
NBC News correspondent Ken Delanian went to the man's home on Monday. He wasn't there.
God.
But 5 minutes later, 2 young men in an SUV came racing up the street and asked what Delanian was doing there.
It was pretty clear they were U.S. government agents, alarmed by the idea that a random stranger was approaching this person's house.
All this comes after a CNN report that the CIA spirited one of its top spies out of Russia after the U.S. became concerned he was in danger of being discovered. The New York Times reports that he was instrumental to the CIA's conclusion that Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered the campaign to interfere in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. NBC News has not confirmed that the Russian gave the CIA information about the election, but he does fit the profile of someone who may have had access to information about Putin's activities and would have been recruitable by American intelligence officials.
This is not a secret to the Russians. They knew that this person was a spy and had been exfiltrated.
This morning, a Kremlin spokesman says the man did, in fact, work for the Russian government, but says he was not a senior official and that he was fired a few years ago. The spokesman says the American news reports are, quote, pulp fiction.
Oh, for God's sake.
This man is dangerous. national security is in danger, our economy is in danger, and you're in danger.